I remember the night Amoka found the mask. I remember it because everything changed after that, and I still can't explain what happened. Even now, over 20 years later, the memory haunts me like a shadow I can't shake off. It was around midnight, and I was walking back from the small market near Olowu Street. Lagos at night has a different kind of energy, buzzing, restless, and a little dangerous. I was about to cross the bridge near our street when I saw her. Amoka was crouched by the roadside, staring at something. "Amoka!" I called out, but she didn't answer. I walked closer, and that's when I saw it. The mask. A golden mask, shining faintly under the streetlight. It didn't look like it belonged there. It was too clean, too polished. Lagos is dusty, dirty, loud, but this mask looked like it had just been placed there seconds ago. "Where did you find that?" I asked. She looked up at me, her eyes wide but calm. "It was just here. Right here." I wanted to tell her to leave it. Something about it felt wrong, like it was watching us, even though it had no eyes. But before I could say anything, she picked it up. The first strange thing happened the very next day. Our neighbor, Baba Kola, a kind old man who sold snacks to children, had an accident. His shop collapsed while he was inside. People said it was bad luck, but Amoka told me something else that chilled me. "I saw him in my dream," she said. "He was begging me not to wear the mask." I laughed it off, trying to convince myself it was just her imagination. But she wasn't laughing. And then, the next day, another incident happened. This time, it was Chinye, a young girl who used to sell bread at the bus stop. She fell ill suddenly and died within hours. No one could explain it. Amoka didn't say anything, but she kept looking at the mask like it was speaking to her. By the end of the week, I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted her. "Amoka, something is wrong with that mask. You need to get rid of it." She shook her head. "It doesn't hurt me," she said. "Only others." That's when I realized something terrifying. Amoka wasn't scared of the mask. She liked it. She carried it everywhere, sometimes just holding it in her hands, staring at it for hours. Then came the worst night of all. I was sleeping in my room when I heard screaming. Not normal screaming, this was guttural, raw, like someone was being torn apart. I rushed outside and saw a crowd gathering near Amoka's house. Inside, her mother was on the floor, clutching her chest. She was dead. And in the corner of the room, Amoka sat with the mask in her lap, her face blank. "They wanted me to stop," she whispered. "But I can't. It's mine." I don't know what happened after that. People stopped going near her. Everyone who tried to take the mask from her met with tragedy, accidents, sickness, fires. It was as if the mask cursed anyone who got too close, except her. Eventually, she left Lagos. No one knows where she went. Some say she still carries the mask, moving from town to town, bringing bad luck wherever she goes. I haven't seen her in years, but sometimes, when the wind is quiet, I think about that night. I think about her crouched by the roadside, picking up something she should have left alone. And I wonder if she's still out there, holding on to her curse, or if the mask finally turned on her too. All I know is, if you ever see a golden mask lying on the ground, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't even look at it too long. Because once it finds you, it never lets go. The morning after Amoka's mother's death, the entire neighborhood was in chaos. News of what happened spread quickly, and rumors swirled like wildfire. Some said Amoka was a witch, while others whispered that the mask was a relic from the gods, cursed to punish the living. The elders called an emergency meeting in the community square. Amoka didn't attend, of course. She stayed locked in her house, the mask by her side. I sat in the crowd, watching as people debated what to do. Some wanted to call the police, while others insisted on consulting a traditional priest. Baba Olekana, the oldest man in our area, stood up and raised his hand for silence. "This is not just a family issue," he said. "This thing affects all of us. If we don't deal with it, more people will suffer." It was decided that the priest, a man named Chief Adisa, would visit Amoka's house the next day to remove the mask and cleanse the area. When Chief Adisa arrived, everyone followed him to Amoka's house, keeping a safe distance. He knocked on the door, calling out to her in a firm, commanding voice. At first, there was no answer. Then, slowly, the door creaked open. Amoka stood there, holding the mask. Her face was expressionless, but her eyes had a strange glint, like she wasn't entirely herself anymore. "The mask doesn't want to leave," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Chief Adisa took a step forward, holding up a bundle of leaves and chanting something in a language I didn't understand. But as he approached, the wind picked up out of nowhere, howling through the street. People started backing away, muttering prayers under their breath. Then, it happened. Chief Adisa stumbled, clutching his chest, and collapsed. Just like Amoka's mother. The crowd scattered, screaming. I froze, unable to move, watching as Amoka stood over him, calm and unmoved. The police got involved after that. They arrested Amoka, taking her and the mask into custody. For a moment, it seemed like things might return to normal. But normal never came. The day after her arrest, the officer who had been guarding the mask at the station fell into a coma. Another officer, who had tried to touch it, had a car accident on his way home. The police, terrified, released Amoka without charges, telling her to take the mask and leave. The community wasn't satisfied. They wanted justice. A trial was held, not in a court, but in the town hall. Amoka sat alone at the front, the mask on a table beside her, as people came forward to tell their stories. "She brought a curse to us," one woman shouted. "She didn't choose this," another argued. The elders listened but gave no judgment. What could they do? The mask was untouchable, and so was Amoka. Eventually, the community turned inward, trying to forget. Families moved away, shops closed down, and Olawu Street grew quieter and quieter. I stayed, though, unable to leave the place that had been my home. Amoka disappeared a few weeks later. Some say she went to a remote village up north. Others claim she wandered into the forest, never to be seen again. Wherever she went, the mask went with her. But the scars she left behind never healed. The market never reopened. The bridge where she found the mask became a spot people avoided at all costs. And late at night, when the wind is strong, some say they hear whispers, faint and eerie, like the mask is still calling out, waiting for its next victim. I don't know if Amoka is still alive. Part of me hopes she found a way to destroy the mask. But deep down, I know the truth. Some things can't be destroyed. Some things are meant to linger, to remind us of the choices we shouldn't have made. If you're ever in Lagos and someone tells you the story of the girl with the golden mask, listen carefully. Because it's not just a story, it's a warning. And it's real.
Did you enjoy the story? If you did, please give us a like, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to comment, let us know what you think about this story, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.